my experience with creative DNA um, was a lifetime change for me. Um, as a streetwear designer, in my perspective, I've been doing everything in a very DIY perspective. So everything I make is from what I see online or try to figure out. But coming into creative DNA, you get a more formal perspective of things, getting to understand.
Great. So to kick us off, I will invite some of the alumni to speak about their experience at Creative DNA, and also one who's in 4.0 cohort. So we have David Nyankuru from Metamorphisized. He was in our second cohort. Round of applause as they come, please. Shikoonyango of Shikoonyango Jewelry. And William Kitheka from Mabatini Studio. And last but not least, James Angwen of Itikadi. Or should I get? Okay. Or you can pull one of this. Okay. Great. So I'm moderating this panel today, which is really exciting because I've walked this journey with a lot of this, almost nearly all the fashion designers. So we will start by a round of introduction. Tell us about your brand and your experience at Creative DNA. So we could start.
Afternoon, everyone. So my name is David Nyankuru, but my alias is Daudi. I'm the creative director of Metamorphisized, which is a streetwear brand based in Nairobi. My brand is basically my journal where I tell stories, Kenyan stories, my experiences, things of the past, about my culture, and try to build a modern heritage of what we're doing now. Is that all? Yeah, thank you.
Your experience with Creative DNA?
Oh, my experience with creative DNA was a lifetime change for me. As a streetwear designer, in my perspective, I've been doing everything in a very DIY perspective. So everything I make is from what I see online or try to figure out. But coming into creative DNA, you get a more formal perspective of things, getting to understand the little things that actually change your brand and make you a business, not just something you're doing, you know. So things have really changed since I got in, and I always recommend all of my friends. I have a few more friends who joined in, so it's always happy to see. Yeah.
Hello, everyone. My name is Shiko Onyango. My brand is Tribal Trends by Shiko Onyango. My brand is all about showcasing Africa to the world through fashion, culture, heritage, and anything made in Africa. Creative DNA has really helped me. I wanted to separate myself as a designer and as a business person. So through Creative DNA, I figured it out. And also, I was one of the people who got the grant. I wanted it to help me produce so many items that every time I rock my stuff, everyone is like, wow, can you make something like this? And I'm like, no, I only do it once. So through Creative DNA, I trained people who helped me. I have a production team. So yeah, we have collections, and we have amazing stuff. Yeah.
Good evening, everybody. All right. So I'm William Kitheka, the creative designer behind Mabatini Studio, a brand where we deal with one of pieces that if we make from upcycled fabrics and hand-loomed fabrics, that is. So we are measuring in one of pieces where, like we say in our bio, it's just made for you.
Hi everyone, I'm James Ongwen of itikadifashionhouse. Itikadi is contemporary ready-to-wear fashion brand, and our vision is to elevate African aesthetic through boundless creativity and innovation. I had to say that slowly because it's our new vision, and I have to keep repeating it until like it really sinks in. But that's what we're doing this year. Elevating African aesthetic through boundless creativity and innovation. So my experience, I'm in the fourth cohort, so within this year is when I joined, and I can say for me, I've really enjoyed the experience. I've got to meet a lot of other creatives. I'm very like on my own. Like I'm quite shy, so I don't move around meeting guys. And I've met a lot of people who I was already like fans of, and I'm already a fan of a lot of the guys in our cohort. I'm a big fan of his brand. And I'm now a big fan of one of my cohort members' brands called Bertrand. And he's always on brand. Like if you see him, you'll know. It's him. Yeah, so I've really enjoyed the experience, enjoyed the learnings. We've come through at different spaces within our businesses, but I think the learning has been wholesome all round.
Great. And the piece behind us is by Shikoonyango. Isn't it lovely? And we have some more designs at the corner there. We'll have time to interact with all the fashion designers later after the panel discussion, so please stick around. Great. So Creative DNA ventured into delegations. And Daudi, I know you went to Egypt for the Inter-African Trade Fair. Tell us a bit about that experience.
Yeah, so end of last year, I went for the Inter-Africa Trade Fair with the British Council, where we were there to showcase our pieces, to network with other individuals across Africa, and like it was an amazing experience for me. There's a lot of things that, as a designer, I haven't really looked at and focused on, but now getting outside there and interacting with other designers, other brands, seeing like what quality is, what values people tend to look at the clothing. That's something that I really learned a lot from there, which is really translating to my current collections at the moment. Another thing was the marketing opportunities there were like out of this world. We got to meet there was a lot of media, there was a lot of brands from across Africa that I met, people who I was a fan of, which was really nice. And then finally, as a brand, something that's been on our vision board has been building a global connection, cross-pollinating cultures, meeting other people, and trying to bring that home or take ours there. And in Egypt, it was an opportunity where I got to meet a lot of people. There's a few collaborations in line. And I came back like so inspired. Yeah, I mean, if you're following me now, you'd see whatever I'm dropping now feels different, looks different. So yeah, it was amazing.
It's amazing. Thank you. And Shikoonyango, you mentioned very briefly that you got the grant from Creative DNA. Could you maybe talk us through what that did to your brand? And I know you've been doing a lot of work with the Zanzibar Fashion Festival as well. So yeah, please tell us a bit about that.
I've always had ideas, but the problem was how to produce them and how to help the community too. So I had the vision of making new bags and introducing, because mostly I was working with stay-at-home moms, but I also wanted to work with other people for different stuff, like the bags and brass work. So, and I saw that my community really needed something to do, because there is power in people. And I've always wanted my brand to produce handmade stuff. So when I got the grant, I called people in and I trained them. I called facilitators. The facilitators are the stay-at-home moms that we started with. So this piece is one of the pieces we made through that. And we showcased them to the world. I think this piece has traveled more than me. And that is intentional, because the goal is to showcase Africa to the world, not the other way. For long, we have been using other people's as whatever they tell us, that's what we take, but we don't have something of our own. But if you wear something made in Africa, cultural, it has cultural meaning, and you go out there, people will notice. They will know where you are from. They will not ask you questions. Yeah? And we have a lot of people in the world. If everyone can wear something from Africa, that means we eradicate a lot of problems like joblessness. So that's one of the things that the grant helped me through. So we have people who are trained in brass work, people who are trained in making these headpieces. I designed only once, and then I made one, and then I was done with it. And everyone was like, "Can you please make this piece?" And I said, "Why not? This is beautiful and it needs to be seen. It's our culture. This is what Kikuyu women used to wear back in the days. And I'm proud to wear it as a fashion statement too at the same time."
Thank you.
Yeah.
Great. And you met someone special at the end of last year from the UK.
Oh, yes. I also
Tell us
met
about
the
that.
king. Yes, I also met the king, and I was happy that he was amazed with how we displayed our display. Our display was all made in Kenya. We didn't do plastic mannequins. We did mannequins from our other project called From Trash to Purpose. We were turning papers into mannequins, which we are also displaying there. So when we told him that these are paper, trash paper, magazines, and everything, he was like, wow. And that was the intention. Like, we don't need to be brought plastics. We can make our own plastic. We can actually make our materials here from natural resources.
Fantastic. Thank you. Okay. And William, tell us a bit about Mabatini Studios. And you were also a grant winner, right? Yeah. So how did that help you? I know you're on a quest of making your brand sustainable. Tell us a bit about that and how the grant helped with that.
As we all understand, the fashion industry is a very capital-intensive business, where designers are forced to produce more for them to get something for them or to sustain their business. When I joined the Creative DNA, so I got a different opinion from my I can call her my teacher. So the understanding of less is more. And when you say less is more, it doesn't mean less in terms of quality. So it's just less in terms of quantity, but more in the quality. So with having a more quantity product with more quality product, so you get you can sell it for more. And then it's for my business, I want to have my pieces to be a one-off piece. So I don't want someone to buy my piece and then in the next 2-3 months, you can't wear the piece anymore. So I want in the future to have my pieces being a collector's item. So I want to put more quality into the piece. So when someone buys it, it's something that they can relate with. So with the Creative DNA, it helped me to understand quality control and how to do for most of my pieces, I only do one off. So I mostly measure with free size and unisex pieces, for me not to be this is not for you, I can accommodate everyone into my brand. So that helped me a lot with reaching more people and more audience.
Great. And James, you had the opportunity to showcase at Tribal Chic. Tell us what that did to your brand and how was that experience?
I think for me it was, the funny thing is that day, I think we were to showcase 6 looks. Then because of, I think, logistics, we had to do 4 looks. So by the time I was there, I was just like, yeah, I'm just going to showcase, and then I'm going to give it 5 minutes, and I'm going to go. But thankfully, my wife is more sensible than me. She was like, nah, you have to stay. And I think the after is what surprised me, because I think we judge ourselves very harshly as creatives, and what we are seeing is what we are seeing. And then right after, when we were doing the pop-up, I had just a line of guys coming to the rack. I think how much did I do? I think I did 45 that evening. And then the next day, I did like 30, 35, which for me was insane. My February looks very good, but I'm cognizant of it was because of Tribal Chic, but also just getting to get feedback from clients, to understand really what guys look for, and not to be in my head so much, and rather trust what I've brought in. I always say my clothes are 50%, and then I need the woman to come in and do the other 50%. So otherwise, they're just clothes on a rack. But I think it was quite a big eye-opener, and it gave me a lot of confidence in regards to how far I can scale the business. And this was in line with, there's a quote from Vusi where he said, this is Vusi Temakwayo. It's the responsibility of African entrepreneurs to build scalable businesses because of the impact that they can make. So I'm well aware that there's so much you can bring just by making sure our businesses are scalable, and so many guys we can employ, guys we can bring into the economies, we can bring up the artisans, we can bring up the stitchers, bundlers, accountants, photographers. Like, the ecosystem is so huge. And I think that day I got a feeling of, I almost felt like for that 1 hour, 2 hours, I felt like if I open a store right now, I'd be very confident. And then after that one, I was like, yeah, stop, like, slow down. But it gave me that feeling of, yes, this resonates, and this is viable, and I should trust what I'm doing a bit. I should trust what I'm doing a bit more. And to be honest, if it wasn't for being in Creative DNA, I don't think I would have been there, because I think the ticket price, just the showcasing price, is a bit nuts. Not a bit nuts. I mean, if you can afford it, you can afford it. But for me, it's really unachievable. Yeah.
Let's give them a round of applause. So far we have incubated 71 fashion designers, and I wish I could bring all of them here. But because I can't, if we can all follow at East Africa Arts, that's the British Council Kenya page. All their profiles are on there. At Trio Media as well, you'll find all the profiles. You can read more about the fashion designers. And I think we have maybe another 30 with us today. So immediately after this, we will go to the installation, and you'll get the chance to meet all of them. So thank you so much.